Good evening, everybody, and you're listening to the Metal Magdalene with Jet right here on Metal Messiah Radio. Tonight we're having a special pre-fest show preceding the Kvlt Fest, the third one, going down in Miami this weekend at Churchill's Pub. I'm featuring a few interviews with some of the bands, and right now we have with us Vincent Crowley of Acheron, the headliners of the fest. Welcome to the show, Vincent.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So, Vincent, give us a little bit of the history behind Acheron. You know, how long you guys been around? I mean, God, you guys been around for like 25 years. So just tell us a little bit of history behind the band without taking all night.
Yeah, well, it is a long one. But, I started Acheron in 1988 after I left the band Nocturnus. And it's been a true journey. We've been all over the place. We've done a bunch of albums, and we've just making metal for many, many years. I've been working with various musicians throughout the years, and I actually think now I probably have the strongest lineup I've ever had. So I'm still pretty damn excited, to do this.
So tell us who is the lineup right now then in Acheron?
We have guitarist Art Taylor, another guitarist Sean Cothran, and our new drummer Brandon Howe, which is actually younger than the band itself.
Well, sometimes that's a good thing. They can bring all that energy in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing we kind of needed in the band. Sean and Brandon are younger guys; they're in their 20s, and me and Art are the old ones in the band, but we have the experience, and those guys have definitely they haven't been jaded by the musical industry yet, so give them time. So we're going to utilize them while they can.
So Vincent, okay, here you guys playing this big Black Cult festival, and in Acheron, I guess it's safe to say, pretty highly satanic type based band. Now, as a band, have you guys had any problems or incidences in the past with venues or groups due to, your content?
It's funny, back in the days when I lived in Tampa, there were a couple shows that we had issues, but we're talking mid-90s, and the reality is, I think, especially the Christian groups, I think they have other things on their mind now. They pretty much have weakened when it comes to doing that kind of stuff. The 90s, they started to taper off a little bit, and really, we don't get too much crap for what we do.
Yeah, I was going to say nowadays it seems that people are more tolerant, especially here in the United States. But I think sometimes, some of these countries overseas, might have a few issues. But as far as the United States, yeah, I think you're right. I think people are pretty tolerant nowadays. Unless you have a name like, Killing Jesus coming to your town, that might be a little different, but
yeah, well, I think every once in a while we get dumb stuff like some dumb Christian putting a CD ripped up and and sending it to us, and we're like, okay, you bought the CD, thanks a lot for the royalty, it's just like dumbass. But back in the day we used to get death threats and all this stuff. People quoting Bible verses, how they're going to, kill us and all this stuff. It was actually kind of funny. I used to tape it up in our practice place, all the threats we used to get. But, nowadays it's pretty calm, and, we did a show, and we did various shows in Brazil a couple years back, and, one thing I told the fans, I was like, hey, bring your Bibles and let's see it destroyed during the show. And we're in South America and Brazil, and so there can be a religious spots of that country, and we had people burning Bibles, and the club owners are freaking out and stuff. We're like, hey, I didn't tell them to burn it; I just told them to destroy it. What they do is their business. So it's all fun. It's all fun.
It's all audience participation. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Now, this weekend, the Kvlt Fest. What are your thoughts thoughts on fests like this? Do you think there should be like more of them throughout the country? I mean, it's really hard to get a lot of people in this, black and death metal type of genre together.
Well, I think that's mostly in the States. That's what's sad. We go to these different countries, and people come out. I mean, they've packed the place. Here, let's face it. I'm not saying there isn't true metalheads in the U.S. There's a lot of unsupportive ones that don't go to shows, don't buy CDs, that are spoiled to sit around all day and just talk shit online or download shit for free. And when it comes to supporting the scene, they don't. Fests like this, IRA is investing to help the scene, and I hope people come out and show their support. There's a lot of good bands on here, and events like this are supposed to build the scene, and if people don't come out, they're not going to happen anymore. Just like if people don't buy albums, people aren't going to make them anymore. So I think people in the States need to quit being so spoiled and start going out and supporting the scene.
Well, I think you kind of hit it on the head when you said, like, over in Europe or overseas, that people are much more supportive. I've seen the same thing here in the States as well, and with big metal festivals, not your commercial ones where they throw in, dare I say, Mayhem Festival, where they'll throw in Slayer with Avenged Sevenfold, to me, or they'll throw in Anthrax with, I don't know, God, whatever the hell those people, Godsmack.
Right.
They kind of are dependent, they're not dependent on one type of genre. So when you go to these true metal shows, it's like the support's not the same, it's like, I don't know, maybe you're right, maybe it's just people being lazy, it's easier to sit at home and download the shit for free and watch the shit on YouTube.
I think it's like a lot of it is just the way a lot of people in the States are, it's like everybody wants a supersized meal, everyone wants something more, so it's like, unless you have, 5 or 6 huge bands, they're not going to come out to a show, like in Columbus. If it's a good, set of bands playing at a big venue, they'll come out. But if you get a kick-ass band coming in through a tour and they're playing a small club, very rarely people come out. You get the same kind of close-knit group of people will come out, and that's it. And I think to myself, okay, all you people are at, you got 1,000 people at this big show, and you get like 50 people at a smaller show. I can't comprehend why you wouldn't go support a band just as good as these 50 or, these 5 that are playing on stage. Why? Because everyone else is going? It's like you have to start promoting those bands, because the ones that are going to the small gigs, they're barely surviving on the road. These other ones that are, filling the house, they're making tons of money. You know what I mean?
They don't need your student support. You could watch them on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
And, yeah, that's very true. And you know what I think, too, is people don't know that when you experience a show live, there's nothing that can compare to that. You can't get the same feeling if you watched it on YouTube or if you watched it here. A live show has to be experienced, and I feel the same way too. If you're there, even if it's somebody that's good, but a smaller band, it's the greatest experience ever. And not only that, they're just as excited to see you there as you are to see them,
Absolutely.
And I was going to say, too, another thing that makes it really hard is there are not a lot of venues that carry metal acts that are close by to people.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird here. I mean, it's like I said, I'm from Tampa originally, and when I moved to Ohio, it's a different world here. I'm sure Tampa's not the same way as it was back in the glory days, but here we have big venues, we have stuff, and Alrosa Villa, where Dimebag was shot, is here. That's such a great fucking thing to have here. And that same club that they had helped reopen and stuff, you know, the people there, they expect people to buy on to get onto these shows. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing, I mean, it's like greed, you know. Mm-hmm. Some of these really talented bands don't play here because, you know, that kind of attitude. Mm-hmm. And that's why I like doing fests like this in Miami and stuff. We look forward to that, you know, because it's getting out of town, you know, dealing with some people that, you know, hopefully support the scene and meeting new people. And there are people out there. It's just, I think we just need to get more proactive and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on with you guys? So is Acheron, like, writing some new music? Gonna have something out there for us all soon?
Yeah, well, we've been, like, trying to, we just got done playing Mexico, mm-hmm. and we were filming a live DVD, which, cool. Show ain't great, but everything dealing with it was a nightmare due to the airlines. They lost our equipment, and you name it, it was a problem, so we're kind of dealing with that right now, but, we are in the process of, we're going to put out a 12-inch on Funeral Industries called The Awakening. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be like 4 songs and a few little extra things. Mm-hmm. We're going to redo 2 old songs and 2 new ones and put it on vinyl and limited CD. And hopefully that'll be done by the end of the year.
Oh, nice. And then what about as far as like shows and stuff like that? Got anything planned?
Yeah, November, we're pretty much, I think every weekend we're going out of the country. I think, I know we're hitting, like Peru, Chile, Venezuela. They're still kind of routing some of the tour, but we'll be hitting Central and South America in November. And hopefully Chile won't get any earthquakes while we're over there.
I hear you. So if people want to find out more about, you know, when the shows are, what merchandise they could pick up, all that kind of stuff, where's the best websites for them to find all this out?
Pretty much the Acheron official Facebook. Well, I post all the stuff on there, so we'll have all our flyers and news going on there.
All right, well, you know what, I'm going to let you get going. Thank you for telling us a little bit about the band, what you got going on, and, you know, have fun at the festival this weekend.
Thank you very much.